you guys, welcome back. I know it's been so long since I filmed last, and normally I'm filming like a makeup tutorial of some sort, but today I'm going to be filming more of like an update on my life and what's going on and what I've been dealing with the past 2 years being a stepmom and now incorporating that into being a mom. So if you're looking for a makeup tutorial, this is not the video. This is more of the tea on what's been going on in my life. And I did recently a poll on Instagram, and you guys were specifically wanting to know about how Alan and I, my husband, have met and how I balance being a stepmom. So we can start with me and my husband's story and how we met. So we met in high school, and I was the one that got away for him. And for me, he was, I guess you could say, the same. He was always like the best boyfriend I'd ever had, and I was like needing to date, the bad ones, and realize actually throughout the years, I was like, oh my gosh, like I wish that were never apart. And he and my sister were in contact for quite some time, and he then was not allowed to talk to her, so it was kind of, I didn't really know what was going on with him. So for like 10, or probably about 6 years, I had no idea like anything going on in his life, because like I said, he had randomly gotten married, and then I actually had gotten married as well. Fast forward to August a couple years ago, we both had split with our spouses, had no idea. He ended up reaching out to me, and I was, okay, let's get together. And although he likes to say that I tried ghosting him again, which I kind of did because I was a little bit nervous as to like seeing him and like where it was even going to go. And because I was, we dated like high school into college, and he was my best friend, and I was I felt bad for it not working out, essentially. And I know how hard it was for him. But anyways, we hit it off, and we have been together inseparable ever since. We have been married now for a year, and we have a 8-month-old boy, and I have a stepdaughter, and her name is Phoenix, and she is almost 4. So that is my life now with Alan, and kind of a brief of our relationship. But so that's the tea with that. I'm trying to think of how to say this, I guess. It's taken me so long to come on and like film, because I was really like, what do I want to film? Like, what do I want to talk about? Like, obviously, for those of you who are new and don't know, I am a professional makeup artist, or I should say, for about 10 years. I worked for 2 major brands, and since leaving them, I am now just a full-time stay-at-home mom. So for me, something that I'm passionate about now is not only just like makeup and clothes and maintaining my personal style, even though I'm a mom and, I'm just running to Trader Joe's and to Target half the time. But something that I am passionate about now is like how I deal with being a mom to 2 children, and obviously one who I have half the time and one that I have full time, and their relationship and how to strengthen that with some of the struggles that my stepdaughter goes through, especially being in our home. So, I guess one of the first things that I can touch on, because someone had asked me like how I maintain my relationship with her mother. So I'm going to choose probably not to talk about that, but I will say that the reason why I was so inspired to film this and to start this was because of that relationship. I feel like, no one really wakes up one day and they're like, oh my gosh, when I grow up, I want to be a stepmom, because, it's tough. It is a tough job. It's not glamorous. And there are people out there that have this beautiful relationship, co-parenting, and it's super seamless. And I'm so jealous of that because of the positive effects that it will have on the children. I don't know what it's like to grow up in a split home, so I can't comment on that. My parents have been married for like 32 years, I want to say now, and I have 3 other siblings, and we're all extremely close. But I can tell you firsthand what I'm going through. And I know that some people have reached out to me as well that are like, they're in the same situation and asking me advice, like how do you do birthday parties and how do you do holidays and, things of that nature. So unfortunately, my relationship is not where I would like it to have been. But it definitely has taught me so much, and it's exactly why I probably would not sign up, or why people, I don't know, I'm trying to like say this in the most appropriate way, why people are not, signing up to be a stepmom in the beginning, because of that, like that exact crazy relationship that you have. And my position that I'm in now is that I have another baby who, sees things and hears things, and he's only growing older and understanding a little bit more. So that's definitely a challenge, and that's something that you guys are going to see more of, because I'm going to be doing more vlog style videos of like day in the life, how I manage both kids, cleaning routines, things of that nature that you guys have been wanting to see. But the tea for today, and a couple topics that I'm going to be discussing now, are how I have dealt with parenting two children, because that's one of the biggest things that people are asking. How do you parent two children, one being a stepchild? Well, my biggest thing was that when I came into Phoenix's life, which was when she was about a little bit over 1.5, almost 2, so a couple years now, was I'm not going to treat her any differently than I would treat my own child. So that's why most people on social media think that she is my biological child, and I have never once claimed that she was. I am not her mom. I am her stepmom, and if you are a stepmom, you will never be able to replace, the child's parents, like biological parent, because you did not give birth to them. But also, being a biological parent doesn't make you any more or less of a parent than someone that is parenting them, because there's grandparents out there, or cousins, or whoever else that takes care of and parents that child. So I don't want to discredit like people that are in my position either, that literally parent that child. We were there for potty training. We were there for making sure that they know how to brush their teeth, making sure that they know how to, say their ABCs for every step of the way, or whether you may not have been in the child's life that young. But anyways, back to what I was saying. The struggle is, so being in Phoenix's life for a couple years now, one of the hardest things for her was, and it still is a struggle for her, is going from home to home. And like that transition of drop off pickup is always the hardest for her. And for a long time it was. So my biggest advice would be to make sure that you're not like coddling that child. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you have to go. Because that is what creates like an anxiety for that child. And I have seen that firsthand. And it's taken us a while to get a place where Phoenix is like so happy to come to us, and that makes me happy, knowing that we worked really hard to like hype it up and let her know like, oh my gosh, it makes us so sad when you weren't happy to see us, because we were so excited to see you. And although things have been extremely, extremely hard, like that is something that we worked really hard on, and seeing that growth has been what kind of keeps me going. Like there's hope for fixing any sort of relationship or helping her in the struggles that she's going through. So my biggest advice is with, drop off pickups and stuff like that, is to try and make it as seamless as possible. Don't drag it out, because if you drag it out, chances are, especially because that child is usually like, my son goes from like being I'm the favorite to my husband being the favorite. And I can't imagine like dropping off and like I'm the favorite and my husband, picking him up, and he of course would be more attached to me. And that's just reality. It doesn't mean he doesn't like my husband. It just means he's more attached to me. So don't let someone tell you that either, because that is not the case. And there is hope, and things will get better. So that is something that we worked on really hard, especially because I didn't want, my son to see like his sister be so upset to like come to us. And it's not that she doesn't, or any child really doesn't want to go to the other parent. It's like I said, it's a change for them, especially being so young. So don't be discouraged by that. Things will get better, especially, you know, if you work on that and trying to make it more of like an excitement thing. We didn't food motivate her. I know that was something that was like said in the past, was like, oh, they give her candy or whatever to pick her up. Like, absolutely not. I'm very, like I said, I treat her as though I would treat my biological child. Before he was even born, that was my mentality. So that's also why things have been, I would say, consistently getting better with Phoenix in her transition, is that I treat her like I would treat my child. She has chores. She is loved. She is spoiled, but she has expectations, and I don't give in to the fact that she has to go to both houses for anything to be excused. Like her bad attitude sometimes, or if she doesn't want to eat whatever it is that I'm making for dinner, like she still has the same exact expectations. So that definitely makes a difference. Another thing that I would say that people were asking is how I deal with, I'm trying to figure out how I want to say this, or even if I want to like really talk about this just yet. I would say that my son, now that he is getting a bit older, and hearing some of the things that she does bring home to us, he may not understand, you know, right now, but he is definitely starting to get to the age where he will start understanding. So now we're kind of like in not panic mode, but we're really trying to like find progress with the things that she says. You know, she's almost 4 and they say a lot of crazy things, but there's also a lot of truth that, you know, they say. And, you know, my struggle now is like how I'm going to maintain their relationship in a positive way, because I know that eventually, like, if we don't fix what's being like said and talked about, that my fear is that my son will not be a big fan of her. Like, oh, why does she come over and like always say mean things to you? You know, so now that is something that we really struggle with. Anytime that we hear any sort of negative talk, whether it's, you know, somebody says that you look like this, or you know, just anything negative, we like ignore and distract. And if she continues, because obviously, you know, children get a reaction out of you and that's what they feed off of. So when she's not getting that reaction, it's almost like reiterated, like, excuse me, did you not hear? So in that case, we literally just say, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. And that seems to be getting a little bit better. But that's kind of where we're at right now with her. So hopefully we can work on that, and, you know, things will be a little bit more seamless. But I do have to say, this has definitely been the hardest thing that I have ever experienced. And I definitely was not, I never thought that I would be in this situation, you know, where I'm parenting someone else's child. And in reality, like, no, I'm not her parent, but, you know, she comes into my home and I have rules too. And I think that's something that's also hard for her. And that's really what we look at, is like, we feel bad for her. She's the one that has to go, you know, from house to house, and we have our own diet, we have our own rules, we have our own schedules. So for her, I know that's a big transition. So if you are in a position where you're, you know, the child is definitely lashing out, which we've have our ups and downs with her, I mean, it will get better. And don't worry so much about what is happening on the other end. All you can focus on is what you can control, and that is what's happening in your home. And truly, like, thinking about like what the child is going through, and, you know, ignoring everything else. If, you know, let people stalk your social media, or, you know, obsess over like what you guys are doing, it does not matter. Solely what matters, and the important thing is that child. And it's taken me so long to come on and like have this conversation, I feel like, because I'm like, it gives me anxiety, you know. I will probably dip into like another episode, but when I was pregnant, because of all the stress it had caused me dealing with all this before I really like found a balance, because when you're hormonal and pregnant, let's be real, like that is so hard. But I had emergency surgery when I was like 22 weeks pregnant, and I thought that something would have happened to my son. But it didn't, and that's extremely embarrassing. But anyways, was not planning on that because I just did my makeup. But anyways, it's super scary, like what stress can do to your body. And I just want you to know, or whoever's watching this, whether you're a stepmom, a mom, or whatever, that things will get better, and it's just about like your mind frame. And like, don't let, things that you can't control stress you out. Let them say whatever they want to say. All you need to focus on is being the best parent that you can be to the child that needs you, and to whether you do have biological children or not. But that is the biggest thing. And I mean, obviously, being able to manage the stress and the anxiety definitely is important. So I don't know how I do it, and people ask me all the time. I don't know, but it's taken a lot, and I think just focusing on the important thing, which is making sure that both of the children are healthy and happy, and that I'm being the best mom and stepmom that I can possibly be. And doing so, all I focus on is the end goal, which is family and raising a good human being. If she comes home and asks at 3.5 years old, like, about marriage, and that she's seen pictures and things like that, like, I will do my best to protect her innocence just as I would my son. And I think that's what's created such big success with me being a stepmom to her, and like my relationship with Phoenix, because she knows she's loved, and that there's security and safety, and a lot of things that are said. She's definitely at a loss of innocence. It's not like your average 3.5, 4-year-old, I would say, especially seeing other children her age. So I don't know if things that are said, because I can't comment on what's going on anywhere else other than my own home, but it seems that she's just super advanced for her age. And we try to maintain her innocence as much as possible, especially because it is going to affect my child, which is one of the biggest things too that people might be thinking is like, well, she's not your child. Well, she's in my home. And reality is, I know a lot of people are in the same position. Like, I have another child as well, and I don't want her to be treated any different. And like I said, the same rules apply for both children, and being, consistent for both of them will do her better in the long run. So anyways, I just wanted to come on and kind of share a little bit about, what people have been wanting to know. And I can't wait to kind of film and start vlogging a little bit more about what goes on in my life. But I just wanted to share with you guys, what we deal with on a regular basis, and where I'm at with parenting. And it's not where I want it to be with the other person, but I will do my best on focusing on, making sure that we are moving in the right direction, like I have been for a couple years now. But you have a tough job for all you stepmoms out there, for all you moms out there. Maybe you're the one, that is on this end of it, but just know that the important thing is that someone's taking care of your child, and essentially parenting your child and making sure that they're taken care of and they're loved. So appreciate whoever that person is that is helping you out, because we have the toughest job being parents. It is so hard, and there's no rule book. There's no rule book to be a mom. There's no rule book to be stepmom or stepdad or whatever else. We're all just kind of doing the best that we can. So thank you guys for watching. And I know it's a little bit of a different video, but I hope you guys stay tuned to, you know, how I choose to, I guess, film my videos. And hopefully they're not too boring. They probably won't be because my life is crazy and I have, like I said, an almost 4-year-old who's my stepdaughter and my son who is 8 months now and my husband. So I hope you guys enjoy and follow along.